Hey, I'm Kayla. As a mom working from home, life is crazier than ever, especially on days like these. But I'm still ruling my day thanks to Metro. Metro gave me an awesome phone and tablet. Now my son can get his homework done on the tablet without needing to borrow my laptop. Plus, with Metro, Amazon Prime is included, so I can access great deals and discounts on school essentials and get them delivered in no time with unlimited free shipping. All while keeping an eye on my son to make sure he finishes his online practice tests before he starts watching his favorite Amazon originals.
Right now, get a new phone and tablet on us when you switch to Metro, the #1 brand in prepaid. Plus, enjoy high-speed data on both devices with one Amazon Prime membership included for just $75 a month. Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day.
I'm Kayla, and that's how I rule my day with Metro.
With new lines of service after rebate redemption plus sales tax and activation fee. Offer valid for new Amazon Prime members on select rate plans. Amazon Prime has a $12.99 a month cost. Restrictions apply.
What's going on, folks? Thanks for hitting that download button and checking out a brand new episode of Toys and Tech of the Trade, your one-stop shop for toys, tech, and talk with some assembly required. I'm your host, Rich, and if this is your first time checking out an episode, first, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for hitting that download button. Second, a bit about what we do here. Toys and Tech of the Trade is an interview series where we sit down with content creators, entrepreneurs, and just awesome folks that are on our radar and discuss the gadgets, the gear, and the tech that they use to create their content, run their business, and overall be just a little bit more productive. Now, when it comes to toys, it's a little bit more than just action figures, Funko Pops, things of that nature. We like to say toys in quotes around here because there's a lot of things that people are into that they consider their toys. Whether it's collecting appliances, knives, assault weapons, you'd be surprised what people are into and what they consider their toys. And we like to break up the business talk with a little bit of lighthearted conversation, and nothing brings people together like the toys that they love. With that said, we're going to get into this week's episode, which is a little bit different. With Father's Day around the corner, I know a lot of people really enjoy the gift guides that we put out, and considering that this show drops a few days before Father's Day, I figured I would share a couple of recommendations if you're on the fence on what to get your dad for Father's Day this year. Of course, with everything locked up, a lot of people are doing their shopping online and looking at other alternatives versus running to the store and buying their dad the usual tie or, cologne or any of those usual Father's Day gifts. As me being a first-time dad, it's always interesting to see what people come up with and what people consider for Father's Day. Me knowing now a lot more dads that are into tech and games and comics and collectibles and so much more, they have unconventional asks. They definitely don't want another tie, and they definitely don't want another bottle of cologne. Well, some do, but most don't. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of different recommendations. They're going to run the spectrum based around what we cover here. There's going to be some tech stuff, there's going to be some toys, and there's going to be a couple of other things in between. So that's what's on deck for this episode. But before we jump into that, I want to take a moment and thank everybody who's been downloading the episodes. I'm so glad that we're back to a consistent schedule. We have a lot more exciting guests on deck from all sorts of different businesses and content creation ventures that some people are really going to resonate with, and some people are going to find a lot of actionable information. Me personally now, especially, as I've mentioned, I'm between jobs, trying to find the new job. It's amazing the stories and the ideas that I've learned. Well, it's amazing the ideas that I've heard from so many creators and the stories that they've shared and the inspiration that has come from that for my own endeavors. One particular project I'm working on, I'm not going to get into too much right now, but I think that it's going to be awesome if it does come together, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I'll share that at a later date. Definitely a lot more RageWorks stuff, as you see, a lot more written content, a lot more podcast stuff. The network is growing. We're always looking for exciting hosts and talent to work with. So if you are an aspiring podcaster and want to find a home for your show and want to just take away a little bit of the heavy lifting that goes into getting a podcast off the ground, definitely reach out to me. Would love to hear what you have in mind. Maybe we can help. As always, try to pay it forward, try to create actionable stuff for other people that are looking to get into this sort of stuff. So any little bit that I can do, I'm going to try and do as much as humanly possible, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, etc. I have a presence for myself and for RageWorks on all of those platforms. So if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to reach out. All right. With that housekeeping out of the way, we're definitely going to have a new guest in 2 weeks. But for now, let's switch gears and jump into the Toys and Tech of the Trade Father's Day gift guide. All right, gift guide time. Let's jump right into it. My first recommendation is an easy one. It really is a no-brainer, and that is the new Apple Airpods 2. Now, obviously, there's some sticker shock for Apple products, as is usually the case, but I got to tell you, the Apple Airpods, when I got the initial first ones, I said to myself, these are kind of stupid, they're not comfortable, etc. So I ended up only wearing them here and there sparingly. And once I figured out the correct way to wear them and everything else, I rarely took them off. I use them for answering phone calls, listening to podcasts, listening to music, of course. And they are usually hanging right from my keys with a special AirPods case that I got that has a little keychain attachment. And they're always with me. And they have great battery life. And you can use them one headphone or both, whichever's easier. And the thing about it is, I said, all right, how can they make it better? Well, they ended up making them better first by doing the wireless charging, which they actually sell a separate case, which if you want to buy for someone that already has first generation AirPods, you can pick up a wireless case. It's going to run you between $60 and $70 if you want to just add wireless charging capabilities to your existing AirPods, and that's a solid gift right there. But the Apple Airpods 2, in addition to having ear tips to ensure that they're comfortable, have noise cancellation, which is great. If you're working in a crowded environment or you just want to drown out music or ambient noise, they are great. But the thing about it is that the noise canceling isn't so severe that it makes you fully oblivious to what's going on, but it's definitely good to drown out loud coworkers if you're working back to work in an office environment, or if you're back in a gym and you want to hear your own music and don't want to hear the music from the gym that they put out, which most times isn't good, then the AirPods 2 are a solid recommendation. And I definitely want to lead with that because it's an easy gift. You can pick up the AirPods 2 at any retailer right now. You can order them from Amazon. You can buy them direct from Apple. Hell, you can buy them in Target if you're able to get to your local Target, Walmart, etc. I'll put links for a couple of different retailers in the show notes for this episode, but the Apple AirPods 2 are an awesome, awesome, awesome piece of tech. And again, don't get shocked by the sticker. The quality is solid. And I will add that even though it's an Apple device that works well with iPhones, etc., you can pair them with non-Apple devices too. I actually paired my AirPods with a laptop I had here and was using them for Zoom calls and Skype, etc., and they worked great. You just gotta follow the prompts and you can pair it to more than just your iOS device. So again, AirPods are 100% cosign from yours truly. Now, the next recommendation, it's weird because I felt really strange about this, and we're doing a gift guide for our RageWorks site. And the thing about it is, I said to myself, I don't know if this is a recommendation, but you know what? It's probably one of the best things I've got in quite some time. And honestly, it's going to sound silly, but it's an air fryer. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, why the hell would I want this, etc. Man, listen, you can cut a lot of time on cooking with the air fryer. I said, it's a hokey gadget that's just going to take up space. And we ended up getting a toaster oven that also doubled as an air fryer. And my wife is like, we should have a toaster oven. Being the father to a small toddler, there's obviously lots of finger food and stuff you want to make. And during the summer, you don't want to turn on an oven to heat up some tater tots. You just don't. But the air fryer has been an awesome pickup. Like I said, it does really great packaged foods, tater tots, French fries, onion rings, etc. But you could do a lot of other awesome things. Air fried sweet potatoes are clutch. Fresh potato chips you could do. Different air fried vegetables are always nice in there. And depending on which one you choose, it has a bunch of extra functions as well. The one that we're using is by Oster, and it does, broiling, convection, air frying, all of those bells and whistles. The only other one that I say would be a great pickup is the one from Instapot, which is the Vortex air fryer, because that one has like a rotisserie basket, and it has a rotisserie option. It also has an air frying basket, because one of the things when you're air frying like French fries or stuff like that is you have to obviously flip the food over halfway through so you get even cooking. With the Vortex one, it's a basket, and you can actually dump like tater tots, French fries, and then the basket turns, and it ensures that the food cooks evenly. I actually saw I saw a demo for one, and I'm going to be honest, I almost bought it, even though I have the toaster oven air fryer combo deal here in the house. I was like, man, this Vortex one is awesome, and they're always running deals on it. I think it was like half price on Amazon this week when we recorded this episode, and I think last week too. So we'll definitely put a link for that in the show notes. If you could score it for half price, definitely do. Also, Walmart does crazy deals on them. I remember when it first came out, for Walmart had it on Black Friday for like $75, which was insane, considering that it was, I think, almost a $200 device at the time. But yeah, the Instapot Vortex, great recommendation if your dad likes to chef it up, if he's a fan of wings or just likes making snack foods for watching sports. Definitely recommended. The barrier of entry is low, and it is 100% idiot proof. For my fellow podcasting dads out there, there's a lot of easy recommendations I can give. Levelator or microphones or software, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to recommend two things for podcasting dads. Number one, Hindenburg Journalist. It is what we use to edit our podcast here, and yes, it's very easy to recommend Audacity or anything like that, but Hindenburg Journalist has been clutch. It is legitimately such an easy way to edit. It has a lot of bells and whistles that you would be paying a premium for if you were using other software. And like I said, it's just simple to use. It works really, really well. And I thoroughly enjoyed my experience with Hindenburg Journalist, so much so that it changed my entire workflow when it came to editing my show. I cannot recommend it enough. The other thing I want to recommend is Auphonic. Now, a lot of times when you're recording podcasts, the audio levels are all over the place. Sometimes they jump around because you get excited, or if you're doing interviews like we do, sometimes the person on the other end, if they're on Skype, have a louder call volume than you. Auphonic is an intelligent sound leveling app, and it has a bunch of other features too, but one of the best things that it does is that it levels out your audio and it gives you a finalized file in the podcast standard, which is I believe it's minus 16 LUFS. Now, again, you can do plenty of other ways there are plenty of other ways to do this, and you can do it in Audacity and in other programs, but Auphonic is great because you can either use the web-based version, where I believe it's based on buying credits, and you can do it on an as-needed basis, but you can just buy the software. I think it's $89.99 last time I checked, and you can edit as much as you want. I mean, with us having the network, we run a lot of shows through Auphonic. It levels everybody's audio. It makes everybody sound really nice. It removes a lot of little hums and subtle things too, to give you that extra layer of really crisp, clean audio, and I genuinely cannot recommend it enough. Now, obviously, if you don't want to spend the money, I would recommend Levelator, which is old and not updated, but it's still solid. But if you're giving as a gift, Auphonic is definitely a solid recommendation, and Hindenburg Journalist is as well. Again, this is for if you got a dad who's podcasting, looking to get into podcasting. These two pieces of software are tremendous. Again, plenty of free options out there. I'm not knocking them, but these are very, very nice, and they just make editing and creating podcasts just a true joy because of how easy they are to use. Now, if you're like me and you're into comics or your dad is into comics and you want to find a way for your dad to protect his books. The thing is, it's very easy to just go into your local comic book store and buy comic boxes. But I got to tell you, I switched maybe a year or two ago to these hard plastic boxes, and they have been a game changer. They are not only incredibly durable, they look nice, and they include dividers. I believe they come with 2 to separate your books, and they're just great. You don't have to worry about the boxes degrading. If water's on the floor, you don't have to worry about the water messing up the boxes. I mean, I have tons of regular default white comic boxes, and once I switched to the hard plastic, they actually come in short box form and long box. They have been tremendous. They usually run you about between 10 and 20 bucks depending on where you buy them from, but I can't tell you how great it was to just move the books to those boxes. They're easy to stack. You don't got to worry about the weight of the books or anything like that throwing off the corners of the box. Now, obviously, there's companies now that are doing great cardboard comic boxes with amazing artwork, which is a great way to customize your collection. But if you just want to maintain and protect your books, the hard plastic boxes are solid. Like I said, they come in small box format, long box, and they're actually doing boxes now if you have graded books, which if you're into, it's a good way to just maintain and protect your graded books if you're not doing like some people and hanging them on the wall, which is the other recommendation. If your dad is a collector of graded books and wants to display them in a really cool way, there are these really awesome comic book wall clips. They run you around $6 to $8 on Amazon. They're really cool. You put them right on the wall. It's almost like a clamp. Think of like a friction case for a cell phone. When you're a friction like a vent mount cell phone arm, those, like, think of it like that. You can just pretty much pull the separator and put your book in there. Now, they say that you can put books that are in just bags and boards in these clamps, and it's the same, but I definitely don't recommend it. I feel that pressure is going to eventually mess up the backboard or the book. But if you have a graded book in the in the hard cases, they are a great addition, and you can just put the graded books on the wall. It looks really nice for if your dad has a man cave or a home office to put up some really cool graded books. I mean, Jimbo Slice from the Variant issue, he got me a couple of graded books, and once I saw those clamps, especially for the office here, I said, man, I want to put up this. I believe he had got me Darth Vader #1, which Marvel had put out, and I said, man, this is great. I can put this on the wall. It looks cool. I don't got to worry about just putting the graded books in a closet or inside a box. I can display them because some comic books just have phenomenal cover art. So definitely those 2 recommendations I got to put out there. Now, it wouldn't be a Father's Day gift guide without some sort of a standard Father's Day gift. Now, yeah, I can recommend tools, especially as a homeowner. Now that I'm older, there's always great stuff you could recommend, screw guns, things like that. And, Weber kettle grills, things of that nature. It's easy. But a lot of people that I know, especially during this whole COVID-19 quarantine situation, have gotten into smoking. And smoking not cigarettes or cigars, but like smoking meats. And the thing about it is that when, I watch a lot of Food Network, I see these guys, shout out to Roger Mooking on Man Fire Food, and I see these guys doing smoking, and you got to get the special wood and all this stuff, and it's a very labor intensive process. And the other thing, especially if like me, I'm impatient. I don't want to sit there and wait for a roast or a pastrami to make over the course of 14 hours. I just don't have it. But I know a lot of people that are getting into it, especially since with social distancing, you can't go out to your friend's house to barbecue, etc. And the thing about it is, a buddy of mine picked up a smoker, but he didn't buy a regular run-of-the-mill wood smoker. He bought an electric one. And I was like, that's a thing? And he's like, yeah, man, it's crazy. And he picked one up, and I saw it in practice, and I said, wow, this is pretty nuts. And he sent me some photos of it on Facebook. I saw it, sent me some videos, and it's pretty much, you get the wood that you want, you put it in there, you put some wood chips, you put some water, and you put your cut of meat in there, you plug it in, and you just walk away. And when you come back, you're You got smoked ribs or smoked sausages, and it just took a lot of the headaches out of it, because obviously it's electric. You set the temperature and you walk away, and before you know it, you'll have some great smoked ribs, smoked brisket, whatever. Now, obviously, a lot of people are probably going to give me some guff, some crap about that's not a purist way, blah blah blah. But it's funny because did a little research, looked around, and some people that are diehard, wood smokers that just do it the old-fashioned way have said that the electric smokers do a damn good job, especially because there's that temperature control. You don't want to sit there and have to worry about babysitting it. And obviously, if your dad is into barbecuing, smoking meats, etc., maybe they would want the old school style. But if you just have a dad that wants to make a smoked brisket, maybe do some smoked sausages for the summer, something like that, definitely cannot turn away from an electric smoker. I was blown away when I saw it, and I saw the quality of the food that came out of there. And I asked my buddy, because he lives down in Atlanta, I said, listen, man, is there a difference in quality? And he goes, listen, man, my buddy next door, he has a regular smoker, and we did the old food exchange, and you couldn't even tell the difference, to the point where his neighbor said, he's like, damn, I may pick up one of these for those times when I don't want to deal with all the prep work of smoking a brisket or doing some smoked ribs. So definitely want to throw an electric smoker out there. There's a couple of good ones that are out there. I believe Master Grill is one. I think that's the one he has. I'll just make sure to get the name of it and put it in the show notes. I'm blown away. I mean, I got a grill last year for Father's Day. It was my first Father's Day gift from my wife and my daughter, and using it a lot. And even myself, like I said, who's super impatient, I may actually consider picking up one of those smokers. Home Depot, Lowe's, most of these places do really big sales right around this time of year, so you can pick one up. Like I said, I believe his is the Master Grill. I'll put that one and a secondary option. And if you're into that, you can pick that up also. So obviously, talking about barbecue, everything else, quick personal tidbit. Before all of this COVID stuff happened and we were quarantining, I was doing the keto diet. And I'm not going to get into this whole big thing about what it is. You could look it up. But it's basically just eliminating carbohydrates, eating a lot more fats, avocados, eggs, butter, bacon. But obviously, it's not all unhealthy stuff. Definitely do your homework, but just using it as an example. But one thing I got to enjoy while on the keto diet was eating more steak. Definitely eating more steak. I'm definitely a carnivore by nature. Eat a lot of stuff in copious amounts. And when I was in the gym heavy, I was eating just even more so just to get stronger. I had some milestones and goals I wanted to hit. So food was fuel. And on the keto diet, it definitely made me enjoy steaks more often than I usually would. And the thing about it is, a lot of people don't understand that, when you buy steaks or certain meats, the quality matters. Like, you could go to your local supermarket, buy some meat, and, it's good. It does the job. But I remember I picked up like my first grass-fed, grass-finished steak and, made it in the house, cast iron pan, grass-fed butter, mushrooms, all the trimmings, and it was a completely different taste than a regular run-of-the-mill store steak. And with Father's Day around the corner, I'm sure there are dads out there like myself that appreciate a good steak for Father's Day. So if you don't have a good butcher in your area, or you just don't want to deal with that and take the guesswork out of it, I'm going to recommend, Butcher Box, which is great. Butcher Box, you can pick up some gift boxes. They also have subscriptions where you can get different cuts of meat sent to your house. Father's Day, you got to get a tomahawk steak. If you got to do anything, get a tomahawk steak. You will not regret it. It's usually like the ribeye, but it has the longer bone. Looks really nice from a presentation perspective. So definitely, if you're a dad and you want to treat yourself, a tomahawk ribeye, can't go wrong. Butcher Box, we're not an affiliate with them at all, but it's just a great service if you want to just get some high quality stuff. And the thing is, with COVID and a lot of the shutdowns going on, they actually had to start a waiting list for people to get on the service, because obviously going to your local grocery store, if you were like me here in New York, there was sometimes days where there was no meat there. And I know some people that had Butcher Box that said like, hey, the subscription service was a godsend, because they couldn't go to the store and pick up chopped meat or pork chops, not just steaks, but other meats as well, because Butcher Box does all that other stuff too. They just didn't have, they just weren't able to obtain some of that stuff. So Butcher Box was a game changer. But if you're looking to just get a gift set for your dad or your grandfather, etc., definitely got to recommend them. And then a couple of different people I follow, Mark Bell being one of them, recommended Certified Piedmontese, and looked them up, checked them out, and man, the quality of stuff that they got on deck, including the fan favorite tomahawk ribeyes, can't go wrong. I'll include a link. Excuse me. I'll include a link to Certified Piedmontese as well if you want to pick up some stuff from there, whether for your dad for Father's Day or even 4th of July is right after. You can get some stuff for your barbecues as well. Now, for all of my gamers out there and my gamer dads, it's easy to recommend consoles, stuff like that, but something that I ended up getting that was a game changer for me personally, especially because my workspace doubles as a space to stream games and kind of just sit around in late at night when I'm recording, was a gaming chair. Now, it's very easy to go and recommend this $300, $400, $500, $600 chairs. And yeah, that's great. But here's the thing. There are two schools of thought, and I'm going to make it brief. You can get yourself a really good office chair if you're going to be sitting at your desk doing a lot of work. Now, if you're going to be sitting at your desk and you're watching YouTube or playing games, office chairs, they may not recline as far back, etc., etc. So if you're in that type of a situation like me, where you have a multi-function space where you're playing games and working and watching movies, etc., you can use a gaming chair. A lot of them have really great reclining capabilities. They go really far back to the point where you could sleep in it. Some of them come with footrests. There's a huge amount of brands out there that are doing gaming chairs, and you could, like I said, you could spend from super cheap to hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. Now, I ended up coming across a brand that was offered by B&H called Spieltech, and I was like, it looked cool. They had some decent colors, and the chair was $100. It was $100 for, I believe it was for a weight limit up to 200 pounds, and then they had one with a higher weight limit if you're a bigger guy, and that one would run you about $199. Still fairly cheap. And I said, you know what? Let me pick one up, and if it sucks, I'll return it. Real simple. B&H had a good return policy. Paid the $100, got the chair in a day or two, and man, it was super comfortable. Came with a lumbar cushion and a pillow, kind of like one of those pillow inserts that go at the top of the chair. If you've seen one gaming chair with one of those, you've seen them all. Again, it was $100. I figured the chair was going to suck, but there were days when I'd sit in this chair 8, 9, 10 hours. Now that I'm home and writing and doing more, I'm in this chair for probably at least 10 hours, getting up, of course, and walking around, but still super comfortable, reclines back. I have fallen asleep in the chair more times than I care to admit because of the generous reclining capabilities. And most importantly, it does not break the bank. $100 for the standard size, $200 for the quote unquote plus size. Can't go wrong. Spieltech gaming chair. I actually am working on a written review for the site because it was such a great chair. Nobody's heard of the brand, but it did the job. For $100, you cannot go wrong. Now, switching gears on the tech side of things, it's easy to give tablets. I can sit here and tell you, buy your dad an iPad, buy your dad a Samsung tablet. But I got to tell you, sometimes less is more. The Amazon Fire tablets, they can run between $50 and $100 depending on the size. They are perfectly fine. If your dad just wants a tablet to watch some videos, maybe read some emails, surf the web. Fire tablets are A-OK. And if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, even better. The Fire tablets, they're on sale as usual, and I ended up picking one up just to have it as a second tablet for in the bathroom, which I'm sure is going to get a lot of chuckles. But listen, I have a Comixology subscription to read comics. I buy a lot of digital books on Amazon, and one of the easiest places to get reading done sometimes is the bathroom. And on top of that, you can watch your shows. And if the tablet gets a little beat up, it's $50-$60. It isn't going to kill you. And obviously, if you do a little Google foo or look on YouTube, you're able to sideload other Android applications and do a bunch of other stuff. So Fire tablet, great recommendation. If you got Prime, you can get it quick. You can watch your favorite movies, your favorite shows, read comics, read books, and it's not going to break the bank. Again, this is just for if you want to get your dad a tablet and you know that he's going to give no kind of a damn about any of Apple's bells and whistles, or you don't want to deal with Android updates. Fire tablets are solid. Switching gears and going back to our comic book dads, I saw something that was really, really cool. In terms of the quality, I'm not going to say that it's going to be great, but I think it's just a cool piece to have, and it is a Thor's hammer tool set. Basically, it looks like Mjolnir, and you open the hammer, the head of the hammer, and you pull out the handle. The handle of Mjolnir actually is the handle of a hammer, and it includes all the usual tools, some wrenches, some sockets, etc. It's a cool little conversation piece. It's an awesome display piece, and I thought it would be a great gift if your dad is into comics and he happens to fix stuff around the house. I thought it was just like a cool gift, and I said, you know what, I'm going to put it in there. Like I said, I don't know the quality of the tools, but I thought that the concept was pretty awesome, especially when you close the toolbox and it looks like Mjolnir. It was just so cool that I could not help not recommend it. We got another Apple product, and it's one that, man, as soon as it came out and I got it, I used it all the time. And outside of my AirPods and my iPhone, it is an Apple Watch. Let me tell you, the Apple Watch at times has saved my butt, mostly because, having my sisters who have little things that come up that people need to reach me, sometimes you just can't pull out your phone to read a text message. But you got an Apple Watch or a smartwatch in general, you can get your text messages on your wrist. You can do, obviously, plenty of other things. The new watches, you can even use them and not even have them paired to your phone to enjoy music. But for me, my Apple Watch works for 4 things. Accountability in terms of tracking my steps, making sure that my heart rate is good. The newer ones have fall detection, and the heart rate monitors have gotten even better. There's been plenty of cases, which you can look up on Google, of people whose Apple Watches have detected heart problems or impending heart attacks, etc. Obviously, it's not a medical device, but it's a cool thing to just, if you're worried about your dad, definitely a cool gift to get. Like I said, reading text messages comes in handy. There's plenty of other apps you can load on their stopwatch. The walkie-talkie feature, which they had taken off, was back as of the last update, and it's great. You can just use the walkie-talkie feature, press that, and it's think of it like the old Nextel chirps. It buzzes the other person you're trying to reach, and they can walkie-talkie in. So if you have aspirations of being Dick Tracy, or your dad is a Dick Tracy fan, it's a cool little feature. But the Apple Watch is awesome, works well, battery life is solid, and it's just, like I said, indispensable. I can read my messages sometimes in a jam. If I can't find my phone, I can answer the phone through the watch. Call quality is not great. Like, the speaker could be a little louder, but it does the job. From a fitness tracking standpoint, it's great. Heart rate, there's workout programs you can put in there, different add-ons you can do. You can use it to track rest breaks between sets if you're working out. The waterproof ones, obviously, you can use if you're swimming and you're an active swimmer, or if you're out on the water, whether you're fishing or anything else. It's great for that. But I recommend the Apple Watch wholeheartedly. And the thing is, I'm sure somebody's going to say, man, you're recommending a lot of Apple stuff, man. You're an Apple fanboy. Let me tell you, the machine that I use for all my editing, everything is Windows. I built it. It has a Ryzen CPU. And yes, I've wanted and thought about getting a MacBook for just productivity and learning more of the Mac OS, but everything here is Windows. I just feel that the Apple ecosystem for this stuff, it just works. A buddy of mine said it's a smart dumb phone, meaning that does a lot of cool stuff, and it's just easy for people to just pick up and use it. And the thing about it is, to a point, it's true. Smart dumb phone is a great analogy. And the funny thing was, Jimbo also mentioned that to me as well. He was actually the second person that said, it's a smartphone for people that just don't want to deal with all of the other bells and whistles. It just does the job. And the Apple Watch, yeah, it tells time, it does all that, but it just works. So definitely a recommendation. And I gotta say, you don't have to buy the newest one. Apple Watch Series 3 is fairly cheap. I'll put links for that. Series 4 and Series 5, and I believe Apple also has a trade-in program. So if your dad has one of the older Apple Watches, you could trade it in towards a new one and get your dad a nice, fresh, brand new Apple Watch for Father's Day. So definitely there. That definitely a solid recommendation. Now, this last recommendation is if your dad is a huge gamer, and I mean huge. I don't mean just casually plays Call of Duty, but I mean like old school, plunking down quarters in arcades. If you remember your dad taking you to an arcade, then I gotta tell you, the arcade 1-up machines are phenomenal. We got to see them at Toy Fair earlier this year, and I've seen some. They're usually on sale at Walmart. And they did one for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where you can have all 4 players. There's an NBA Jam machine. There is actually, if you're a fighting game fan, there's a Street Fighter one. There's one that has X-Men versus Street Fighter that just dropped. So many great games. I also believe that they're going to do an arcade hunting game. So if your dad's into shooting games at the arcade, they're going to be doing one of those. They run between $250 and $350. I believe the highest I've seen is like $4 and change. But Arcade 1-Up does a great job. You can pick up the machine, you bring it home, you build it, and boom, your dad has an arcade machine in his man cave. And like I said, it's such a cool thing, especially if you're a fan of the arcade machines growing up, or if you or your dad had aspirations of getting an arcade machine for the house. This is a great pickup. Like I said, I got to check out the NBA Jam one at Toy Fair, and I said to myself, if I had more space in my office, I would have bought it, because I remember playing NBA Jam, and if you are familiar with the game, when you played NBA Jam, it was 1 quarter for a quarter. So obviously basketball games have 4 quarters, so essentially a full game of basketball would cost you $1. But still, sometimes if you bothered your mom or your dad for 1 quarter and you enjoyed basketball, NBA Jam was an easy play. But like I said, there's other games out there for whatever genre your dad may be into, whether it's arcade classics like Burger Time, or sports games like NBA Jam, or different fighting games. There is definitely plenty of different games to choose from. So definitely co-sign for Arcade 1-Up. And my last recommendation is it's one that you probably would think is more for kids, but if your dad is into Star Wars, Marvel, etc., you can't go wrong with a Disney Plus subscription. You can buy prepaid cards for it at your local retailers. You can buy the subscription yourself. And obviously, if you already have it, you can always add your dad to your subscription. But if you don't want to do that, you can buy your dad a prepaid Disney Plus subscription. It's, I believe, $79.99. And if they're Star Wars fans, there's good stuff on there. I'm actually watching the Clone Wars with my daughter, getting her into Star Wars at a young age. Which is pretty cool, just because I'd watched episodes here and there, but every day right before her nap, we'll sit down and watch a couple of episodes of Clone Wars. They're very short. Mandalorian, of course, all the Marvel stuff, the list goes on. I believe they're going to be adding Dinosaurs, which was an old school show with a dinosaur family that was just ridiculous. I'm hearing that it's going to be on Disney Plus sooner rather than later, but all the Star Wars stuff is solid. Mandalorian was phenomenal. Can't wait for season 2 this fall. And when I heard about the addition of Ahsoka Tano, who's a character that was introduced in Clone Wars, who's going to be appearing in The Mandalorian, I thought that was pretty awesome. So that actually was what got me to start watching Clone Wars in its entirety just so I can get familiar with the character in advance of the character's appearance on the Mandalorian TV show. So I think that's a decent amount of recommendations for you guys to choose from, whether your dad's a comic fan, a techie, a podcaster, or any mix of any of those genres. There's definitely something there for them. Definitely let me know what you ended up picking up off of this list of recommendations for your dad. If you got one thing, if you got a few things, let me know. And if you didn't get anything on this list, let me know what you got your dad for Father's Day. I'm curious. I definitely in 2 weeks when we do another episode, I'll let you guys know what my wife and daughter got me for Father's Day. I've been kind of eyeballing and dropping hints that I want a Husky toolbox. Well, not a toolbox, but a tool chest for my garage, because I have like 5 toolboxes here in the studio full of drills and different things, and it's just a pain in the butt to deal with. So kind of been dropping hints for a Husky tool chest, and that may be what's heading my way, or it doesn't get any more dad than this. A multi-charger for my Ryobi tools, which, if you use a cordless drill, etc., you kind of want the same ecosystem. Some people are Milwaukee, some people are DeWalt. I just use regular Ryobi stuff. I'm not out here building houses or sheds or whatever, and the Ryobi tools don't break the bank. So I don't want to switch one full battery out for another. So they make like a charger that charges like 6 batteries or some nonsense. So it's either that or the toolbox. That's kind of what I want for Father's Day, mostly because my birthday is shortly after, turning the big 40 this year, which is a conversation for another episode. But yeah, anyway, I think that's going to wrap up our Toys and Tech of the Trade gift guide. As I said, let me know what you pick up for your dad, your granddad, the father figure in your life. I'd love to hear what you guys ended up picking up, whether it's off this list or not. All right. Call to action to close things out. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment and give us a rating on iTunes. We would really, really appreciate it. Helps us get more traction. Social proof never hurts. Take a moment, give us a rating, 1 to 5 stars. And if you want to write a little blurb, we would really appreciate it. Like I said, you can do it on iTunes or any of the podcast providers of your choice. If you're checking us out on Spotify and you can leave a review, or Stitcher or any of those platforms, we would really, really appreciate it. As always, if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode of Toys and Tech of the Trade, if you have an awesome story or have something that'll bring value to our audience, feel free to fill out the contact form on the website, rageworksnetwork.com, or email me, rich@rageworks.net. Last but not least, if you're on social, you can find us on all of the usual social platforms. I'm not going to run down the entire gamut, but you know the deal. Punch in Rageworks. You can find us, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. You guys know the deal. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, but look for us on any of those platforms. All right, that's gonna wrap things up. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. As always, thank you for your continued support, and make sure to check out all of the other shows on the Rageworks Podcast Network, rageworksnetwork.com. See you guys in 2 weeks. Peace. Toys and Tech of the Trade is part of the RageWorks podcast network, your source for rants about gaming, entertainment, and the works. Visit us at RageWorksNetwork.com.
Now is the chance to use reliable energy to grow your money with the Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. Our new investment product offers competitive returns, no maintenance fees, and flexible online access to your money. Make the reliable investment in reliable energy. The Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. To find out more, go online to reliabilityinvestment.com. That's reliabilityinvestment.com.
With the new iPhone SE for less than $100 at Metro, you rule. It's the most affordable iPhone on the #1 brand in prepaid. So whether you're studying online or FaceTiming.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, dear.
The iPhone SE has all you need. Switch to Metro and get the iPhone SE for $99.99 after rebate redemption and 6 months of service with AutoPay. Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day. Limit 1 per account/household. Requires port and ID validation. Not valid for numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. Restrictions apply. See store for details.